universe titles. There are time codes in the description if you want to jump around. We good? Great. Time to blow this thing and go home. The year is the 1900s, and animation is not at the forefront. For years, black and white films have dominated the early 1900s. But soon, one new voice entered the conversation. A voice that would be instrumental in creating the biggest empire possible. Walt Disney. Walt Disney was a man with a vision. A vision of creating movies for audiences of all ages. Going from the ups to the downs, this is careful. Well, you can speak in a whisper, just not loud, okay? You'll have to turn the light on. Yep. Walt Disney wanted to make fairy tales and movies. Walt Disney convinced the idea of making his own feature-length films back in 1933 when its animation studio was focusing on production of animated short films such as the Silly Symphony series. Although they weren't popular with the audience, Disney believed that the shorts did not bring enough profit to go further of the studio. So instead, Disney decided to do something different, to create an animated studio that would make movies for a generation. From the ups to the downs, this is Disney, Walt Disney Animation, a complete retrospective. As always, thanks for your support. It helps out a lot. This is my first ever, this is not going to be a simple 5-part retrospective. This retrospective will be a 10-parter. I'm hoping to not make this a 10-parter, but this is going to go up to 2024. This will go up to 2024. Productions on Disney's first film ever made, Snow White. Because Disney wanted to do Alice in Wonderland first, but it failed. Because Paramount already owned the rights. So instead, Disney decided on doing something different, as he bought the rights to Snow White. But now the big question is, who would direct? Well, Disney finally decided on a director. David Hand took over the production duties as Percy Pierce William Connell, Larry Money, Rufus Jackson, Ben Shifrin, and Ted Sears and Ben Shifrin would join as supervising directors, as David Hand would serve as the film's main director. With that done, what about the cast members? Well, the cast would consist of, first, Adriana Cashley would join as Snow White, followed by Lucy Verney as the evil queen, Grimhilda. As the pieces were finally falling into place, leading into the start of principal photography in the early months of the year 1934. As principal photography continued into the year, Disney immediately penned the release date for Christmas of 1937. Doing the dining room now?
No.
But the day arrived, February 4th, 1938. But for the Cataway Circle Theater, but for the Cataway Circle Theater, but for the Cataway Circle Theater, December 21st of 1937. But almost everyone knows it came out in 1937. The day arrived, November 31st to December 21st, 2007, where audiences could journey to theaters to see exactly what Disney had cooked up.
I will read that shortly.
Snow White's a classic in my opinion. There's no doubting it. The movie did well at the box office too, ranking in a good $418 million. As Snow White's box office immediately trucked into the early months of the year of 1938, Disney released the project for their next installment. A film about the little wooden boy, Pinocchio. A dark story by the Hans Christian Andersen team. A very dark story that involved the theme of growing up and a little bit of evil. Watch John Solo's version. Watch John Solo's explanation on the original version. As the cast was immediately put up. Dick Jones as Pinocchio. Cliff Edwards as Jiminy Cricket. Kristen Roberts Geppetto Clarence Nash as Figaro, who was also Minnie's Ken in some Disney adaptations. Walter Kellett as Honest. And Ellen Vanwell as the first Disney fairy, the Blue Fairy. Bonk! Ow! Okay, I admit it. Tinkerbell was there in the beginning. But hey, you didn't start appearing in movies till 1953. So, you will come in part 2. So for real, the first ever Disney animated fairy in a movie was the Blue Fairy. Ay, ay, ay. Once award season came around, Snow White was nominated for a slew of Academy Awards, taking home 7 Oscars, which led to one big trophy followed by 7 smaller ones. But once principal photography wrapped, the first teaser trailer was released online, showing that the film would be released in 1940. And finally, the day arrived. February 7th, 1940. Or February 23rd, 1940. As audiences could journey to theaters to witness Disney's second attempt. This movie didn't do very well. 164 million is good, but not as good as Disney wanted. Right to the point where Disney was now worried. Because the final film in our retrospective was their most risky. A completely soundless film. A little film called Fantasia. Released the same year as Pinocchio, Fantasia would be released the same year as Pinocchio. In November. But finally, the day arrived. On November 13th, 1940. As audiences could journey to theaters for what could be Disney's first flop. This movie did not do as well as Disney thought it would. As a matter of fact, this film put Disney's plans almost on ice. But as 1940 was trucking along, another problem hit Disney hard. The Second World War. As the battles between the Nazis and the US began, Disney was forced into doing something different. Sure, Disney still made animated movies, but their writers were the problem, as they all joined the war effort, making promotional movies for the war effort. So half of Disney was in a slump due to the Second World War. As Edward Bromby joined the cast as Timothy Q. Mouse, no character was given for no main actor was given for Dumbo the elephant. Possibly was revealed that Disney possibly didn't do one. as the release date finally arrived, Halloween 1941. As Disney journeyed back to the box office for what could be a possible another box office flop. It wasn't, actually. Disney did not bomb at the box office this time. It was financially successful, giving Disney more hope as the war trucked along. But our journey strut is almost over for part 1 of this retrospective. Yes, this is a 2-part. This is a...
I will be back
Okay.
in a few minutes, so you don't need to turn the light up.
With this being a possible, even if I can get this done in 3 parts, it would be better. As Disney would release one more film before the war effort came to a close.
I love you.
I love you too. As Cindy Franklin purchased the rights to Felix's novel Bambi, Life in the Woods, to produce a live-action film from our Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or Metro-Goldwyn, the company with the lion. But then it happened. But Disney eventually refused, feeling that the animation studio as Franklin sold the rights immediately to Disney in the early months of the year. Boom. In 1930, the production for Bambi immediately kicked off. As the animators actually visited a zoo in Los Angeles to get some footage. But that day finally arrives on August 13th, 1942. Disney could journey back to theaters for their next film. Bambi did well at the box office, right down to a point where a sequel could happen. But with that over, the war finally also nearly came to an end. As 1945 came to an end, Disney immediately ended the world is stunned with helping the war effort. As Disney's crew could return to Hollywood to make what they do best, animated features. And that is where part 1 of our Disney journey comes to a close. Taking us from 1937 to the end of the Second World War. Our next journey will take us through Disney's Bronze Age, from Disney's Silver Age all the way up to the beginning of a new Disney age. The age of the Disney Renaissance. Now that will only take us to the Disney Renaissance period. It won't take us past that. So possibly I will be doing this in 10 parts. Part 2 will tackle Cinderella, Peter Pan, will tackle... I should explain the parts. Part 2 will tackle 1950 Cinderella, 1951's Alice in Wonderland, my grandma's favorite film, 1955's Lady and the Tramp, up to Disney's Lady and the Tramp, I think. Will take us to Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats. Will take us from Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, The Lady and the Tramp, Sleeping Beauty, 101 Dalmatians, Sword in the Stone, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats. No, actually I'm going to do Cinderella all the way to... all the way up to Sleeping Beauty, where then I'll begin the Silver Age for Disney, being Disney's 101 Dalmatians, The Sword in the Stone, The Jungle Book, The Aristocats, up to Robin Hood in 1973. Leading us into the start of the Disney Renaissance as the Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, and Blood in the Black Cauldron, and the Great Mouse Detective will wrap us up. Leading us into the Renaissance period. I'm skipping a few live-action films, meaning that I will be skipping some live-action films. That means, that doesn't mean I won't be skipping The Nightmare Before Christmas or James and the Giant Peach. Those are two movies I will not skip. The sequels, I may skip. They were direct-to-DVD sequels, and I am planning retrospectives for Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, and A Little Mermaid in the future. I am planning retrospectives for all 3 of those movies. Until we meet again, I'm Lamont, and I'll see you guys later.